and stuff like the Food Network, HGTV. So Tampa won. Yippee. But I think at this point, Tom Brady's standards are above winning games. That game against Minnesota looks a lot different if Minnesota had a good field goal kicker. It would look a lot different, totally different. Off a bye, Tampa Bay had 17 first rounds, 20 minutes time of possession, and Tom Brady completed 15 throws. Off a bye against an average Minnesota defense that average quarterbacks have run up and down the field on. Listen, what I'm about to say is a reality. It's not a criticism. It may be viewed as both. Everybody loves Bruce Arians. He's a great guy. I mean, they asked Freddie Kitchens, remember the Cleveland coach, when he got the job? He worked with Arians. What do you remember about him? And he honestly said, he makes the best cocktail. I mean, it's funny. I don't want to hear that. So Bruce Arians retired once. Why? He was tired of the long hours. He went to CBS to be a broadcaster. He did a good job, but he never really fully committed, and it showed. And then he goes to Tampa, and he has built the biggest staff in the league to limit the grind. It's starting to show. If you look in the NFL, every other weekend, you're facing a Kyle Shanahan, a Sean McVay, a young Matt LaFleur, a Cliff Kingsbury, a Joe Judge, a Brian Flores, young, energy, relentless, 18 hours a day, living it, breathing it, consumed by it, and the energy to handle it. If you're not putting in 18 hours a day, you don't get to see your kids' recitals. It's Zoom meetings. You're going to get exposed really fast in tech and even faster in the NFL. Tampa Bay has one impressive win all year. They've plateaued. They're fine. They're not bad. But they're not cleaning up their stuff. They're not cleaning it up. This is why they're inconsistent. I know Tom Brady's obsessed, but I also know Bruce Arians has retired once, has the biggest staff. I saw the broadcasting thing. Doesn't mean he can't coach. But this league, there are just certain positions that are built for young guys. Too many hours. I mean, he's got 5, 6 assistants on the offensive side, and he's an offensive guy. He's got layers of different offensive coaches. I watched yesterday. They still don't have an identity. All Tampa is a collection of talented players. They got a country club feel. And the Buffalo Bills are guys that are playing on a public course, that want to get to the country club, that are hungry to get to the country club, that are putting in the hours to get to the country club, that are sacrificing to get to the country club. But the Bills are on that public course, and those teams on that public course, they are just putting in hours, chasing and chasing. Mike Evans started his career. His first 6 years in his career, he had 6 straight 1,000-yard seasons with Josh McCown, with Mike Glennon, with Ryan Fitzpatrick, with Jameis Winston. He's not close there with Tommy. Come on now. You see this. Like, it's not a shot at anybody. It's a reality of what they are. Off a bye. It's a lot of talk. It's a lot of chatter. It's a lot of country club stuff. I just don't see the edge here at all. I thought it was an unbelievably startling win. If the Vikings just have a field goal kicker, this game looks completely different. Here's Arians after.
I think games dictate how much you run it. What's the score at the end of the third quarter? And, we were leading, so it leads to more runs. And Rojo ran really, really well, especially that last drive. And we wanted to set up some play action. Didn't hit it as many as we hoped. But, that when asked early this week about our identity, I think we just showed our identity. We can do any damn thing we want to do.
Then why don't you? Off a bye. I've seen Andy Reid's teams off a bye. If they got issues, they cinch them all up. I've seen Sean Payton's teams with chaos and backup quarterback and off a bye, and they cinch that stuff off. I've seen Sean McVay's team off a bye, and they clean stuff up. This should be easier. You got Brady, the most obsessed football player of all time, and off a bye. You lose that game if the Vikings have a field goal kicker. You do. Joy of the news.
No. is the Herdline News.
Well, it was looking like an upset there for the first 5 minutes.
Boy, I tell you what, there is Miami's first 5-6 minutes, almost every game I've seen this year, they give quarterbacks fits. I mean, Russell Wilson, not just every guy. That first 5 minutes, first 7-8 minutes, Mahomes was, he was struggling.
No, they're gonna come out ready to go. They overcame a 10-point early deficit to the Chiefs and 4 turnovers to beat the Dolphins 33-27. 3 of those 4 turnovers were interceptions thrown by Patrick Mahomes, who had his first multi-interception game in the regular season since 2018. So, I think that stat alone is very reflective of what this Dolphins defense is.
Yes.
Like, they do cause turnovers, and Patrick Mahomes is not someone that throws interceptions. He does not turn the ball over. He also took a 30-yard sack, which is the longest sack since 2015. It was so bizarre. I was like, I had to watch it again. I was like, what is he doing? Because this is not what Patrick Mahomes does. Like, he doesn't make mental errors. It was so weird.
Isn't it amazing what great defensive coaching does to even star quarterbacks?
Yeah.
You go back, Belichick against Peyton Manning. Mahomes is a wizard. In those first 2 or 3 series, he was making mistakes he has not made in a year against anybody.
And that's we lean so much into offense. Like, that's all we talk about. It's all we focus on, the offensive numbers. Like, if you have a great defense, so I'll mention it in passing, but you can really see, the Dolphins are not as good of a team as the Chiefs.
And they were
obviously
also missing their top 3 running backs in Kyle Van Noy. When the story came out right before the game that all 3 running backs were out, I literally tweeted this. It's like, okay, I'm 0-1 and blazing 5. That's not a game you can win. A rebuilding team missing a key component to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. They're all out. And I'm like, the fact that it was that close, if in Miami today, I'm like, I feel unbelievable about my football team.
No, I do, and I'm not a huge moral victory person, but I do think that the process and development is very important, especially in a young team.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't think that it was the right choice to keep Fitzpatrick in, even if it meant that they were going to win games, because that doesn't serve you in the long run, and you're not ready to win a Super Bowl right now.
Yeah.
So if you were every other position on the field and everything that was going on was positioned, you could win a Super Bowl. You just have to have a quarterback that can win you some games. Okay, then maybe not see what Tua has this year. But that's not the situation the Dolphins are in. I thought they played a game against the Chiefs that was respectable, and the defense was unbelievable. Like, he gave him fits, and you never say that about Patrick Mahomes. They had 3 sacks, 7 quarterback hits, and 4 first turnovers, including that sack.
I'm so excited for Miami's future. The NFL is better when the Bears are good, the Niners are good, and Miami's good. They really are.
I love it. So Washington jumped into first place in the NFC East with a 23-15 win over the 49ers. They didn't score an offensive touchdown and lost Alex Smith to injury in the first half, but the defense picked up the slack, scoring 2 touchdowns in their 6th win of the season. They've now won 4 straight, and they control their destiny in the division. So they are at top of the NFC East at 6-7. Giants obviously lost yesterday, so they are 5-8. Eagles 4-8-1, and the Cowboys are 4-9. The rest of their schedule is not easy. They have the Seahawks next week, then the Panthers,
win,
and at the Eagles. So the Giants' remaining schedule is not any easier. They have the Browns, at the Ravens, and then against the Cowboys.
Well, here's the good news. We know Miami found the right coach. It looks like the Giants did and Washington did. Ron Rivera's a good fit.
He's had an unbelievable season.
He's battling cancer, the quarterback chaos, and they're going to win this division. And by the way, they could end up going 500. If you look at their schedule, it's realistic to think they're going to be an 8-8 team. That's
remarkable.
That is. Coach of the year, you could say Kevin Stefanski. Ron Rivera's got to be on your ballot. He's got to be somewhere on your ballot.
And they have a star in Chase Young. So you didn't get your quarterback this year. Alex Smith, it's a calf soreness or something in his injured leg. You're not going to move forward with Dwayne Haskins, even though he played a nice game yesterday. You get the quarterback and you're set. You have to feel great if you're Washington. And I wasn't sure what this team was going to be this year. He's definitely got to be in the Coach of the Year conversation. So Kevin Durant returned to the court for the first time since June of 2019 this weekend.
Internet freaked out.
They did. I don't know why, because, he's clearly coming back this season, but he shot 5 or 12 from the field.